Two guys in their early 50s with one dream: to achieve middle-aged sporting glory. This is the Missing Links Golf Show. Andy Walker, welcome back. Pilgrims, here we are for not part one, but part two of our myth-busting extravaganza.
Yes, and as we record, it's Masters Week, which I can see you've taken it to a new level and standing on the first tee there at Augusta.
Beautiful day. Weather's a bit better than what it really has been.
I believe it wasn't.
Yeah.
Given they had to kick everyone off the course.
Evacuate the course. Oh, high drama in Augusta.
Yeah. I hope that's not going to happen throughout the 4 rounds, but we'll see.
My sources, i.e. Sandy Wedge, who is over there at the moment covering things, tells me that the weather is supposed to be fine and sunny for all 4 rounds, albeit potentially a little bit cooler than to be expected. Bear in mind, there's not much point us talking about weather forecast because by the time this episode actually goes to air, the Masters will have been played and won.
Well, will it, or will this get released sort of in the middle of?
Oh yeah, it will be halfway through round 4. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
true.
So,
come on, Min Woo, you've got it in you. Come on.
Yes, love to see an Aussie get up.
Yeah.
Jason Day, what are your thoughts of Jason Day's chance?
Oh, look, he's been playing some decent golf lately.
Yeah. I think he's been a little bit hit and miss, but certainly
there's glimpses.
I think that there's been glimpses of his old self, and I mean Jason Day, he's been around forever, but he's only in his late 30s. Like he's still got, if he can get his body right,
that's
and get his swing back.
That's the big if.
I think that he's still got time to win another 1 or 2 majors, which would be really cool.
Knows his way around Augusta too. Plays well there.
Yeah, had a couple of chances.
Yeah.
Around the time Adam Scott won his.
Yep.
I remember that
he was up
Charles
there.
Schwartzel.
That was 2012, I think. 11? Yeah. 2011 maybe.
11 or 12. I know it was one of those where Charles Schwartzel like birdied the last 4 holes or something to beat. And there was 3 Aussies, Mark Leishman, Jason Day and Adam Scott all vying for the title. And everyone in Australia was just like, we've got to get an Aussie up this year. It's got to happen. And then Charles Schwartzel just came home like a train and did everyone. So
even 2013 from memory, I think J-Day was looking more likely throughout that final round until Scotty kind of came over the top in the last few holes.
Yeah, I think J-Day made a couple of bogeys as well. He bogeyed like 16 and 17.
Sounds about right. Yep. I'll have to watch the Masters classic films.
They're being played this week.
Yeah, it is good. It is good. But Andy Walker, could do a whole Masters episode. In fact, we might do that next week in the fallout from this tournament. But hopefully it's an Aussie that gets to lift it. If not, then maybe our friend of the show, Ludwig Oberg, if he gets one, it'd be nice. It'd be nice to see. I mean, we love our American pilgrims. Don't get me wrong. We really do. Love you guys. But it'd be nice to see representative of the internationals. I think the President's Cup side lift one. So forget the Americans, forget the Europeans. Let's go the internationals.
Yeah. Look, and what I think I wrote in our little chat group that I reckon Captain America, Keegan Bradley, he's been showing some good form.
He has,
and I just reckon he's due to just pull something out of his hat. Like it's, I wouldn't surprise me if he was there or thereabouts this week.
Is he suited to Augusta? I don't know.
He's had a couple of top 10 finishes.
Okay.
Hasn't done that well, but I think last year he sort of, maybe scraped into the low 20s or something, was about sort of tied for 22nd or 3rd or something like that. But yeah, not. I don't think he's contended, but he's had a couple of. I think he's had a couple of top 10s.
Can Rory do it? and finish the Rory Slam?
No.
Do you want to think about
that? Don't get me wrong. I would love to see Rory win. I love the way Rory plays golf. I think I don't know if he deserves it. I don't know if that's the right word.
Does it even matter?
No. And deserving's got nothing to do with it, I guess. But I would love to see Rory win just to cap off his career. And potentially from there, could open the floodgates for another 3 or 4. But yeah, I don't know how many demons has he got there. I don't know.
A lot.
Not necessarily talking about Augusta per se, but just majors in general.
I think Pinehurst hurt a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, look, it could be as we are having this conversation, not in real time, but in terms of when this podcast is released, as you say, it'll be halfway through round 4.
Mm.
As we're having this conversation, either Rory could be out to a tournament-winning lead, at which point, Congratulations, Rory. Great to see. Congratulations on the career slam. Or he may have just missed another heartbreakingly short putt to capitulate in the second night of the final day, at which point, sad to see that happen for you, Rory, but come on, get yourself a mental coach.
I don't know. I know we spoke about it a few weeks ago with Nick Cutler, and I think we agreed that he would have to be a very, very, very long way in front.
Yeah.
To sort of get the job done. But even then, I mean, you look at the back nine or Augusta. What did he have? Like a 7-shot lead. I don't know what year that was. That was pretty early in his career, 2010, 2011 or something.
That was quite a long time ago now. Might have been 11.
And capitulated from there, and that's a big lead. I mean, Greg Norman had a 6-shot lead with 18 to go. I mean, he was 7 with 9, and you just, it's just a massive capitulation. So I struggle to see it.
I actually think Rory's best chance isn't leading. It's actually like coming out of nowhere and just lighting it up, thinking that he's gone and it's all over.
Yeah, and he finishes, one or two behind the leader and they capitulate.
Yeah, I actually think that's his best shot.
Yeah, and potentially that is true.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. I just don't have a huge amount of confidence there.
No. Anyway.
So who's your pick this week? Minwoo?
I really want to see Minwoo win.
Don't say Scotty. You can't go the easy route.
I'm not going to tip Scotty. I was about to say the easy option would be to tip Scotty, and everyone does. I'm not going to do that. And to be honest with you, he's not at his best. He's been good. He's certainly not playing bad golf by any stretch, but he's not at his best. And I don't know, what would it be? Is it 3 in a row, or is it 3 in 4 years if he wins this year? It's one of the two.
It'll be 3. It'll be 3 in a row. He's gone back to back.
Yeah. So honestly, that's a very tall order. So I'm not going to back Scotty. Others that are worth mentions is Bryson.
Yep.
I certainly would not be forgetting about Bryson.
What about Brooks Koepka? I mean, he's had a couple of decent finishes around Augusta. Do you think he's got a chance?
I haven't watched a lot of Live Golf, but I don't feel like, from what I've heard, I don't feel like he's at the top of his game at the moment. But I tell you what, you wouldn't write off the likes of Xander from, even though he's coming back from injury, but from getting up there on the big stage.
He just doesn't seem to have really sort of done too much over, this year really. I mean, he had an injury at the end of last year, which sort of makes it hard, and just hasn't really sort of come back.
I have been calling Ludwig from pretty much Christmas time for this tournament. So I'll stand by the fact I think he's a big chance. And I think if Victor Hovland makes the cut, he wins.
Yeah, right. Okay.
because it seems to be one or the other for him.
What about Hideki Matsuyama? He seems to go pretty well. Obviously, prior Master Champion.
Yes, and also leading amateur, I think, some time ago around Augusta as well. You couldn't write him off. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely couldn't.
Yeah, when he's on, like he's on. So I think he's definitely got a chance.
So there's a few.
And I have to correct ourselves as well. Scotty, I've just looked it up. Scotty hasn't won the last 2 years. It's 2022 and 2024. Jon Rahm won in 2023.
Yeah, so it'd be 3 and 4 years. Yeah, which was my hedge betting statement from earlier.
Nice hedge betting.
So, I mean, there's a lot of options. It's going to be a strong field. There's a lot of possibilities. It won't be Tiger. I think it's fair to say. Given that
did you see his tweet on the 1st of April?
No.
So he tweeted, can't believe I'm writing this, but huge amount of hard work. Thanks to my team around me, but I'm actually good, and I'll see you at Augusta in a couple of weeks.
How did I miss that? That'd be sending the Twitter sphere into meltdown.
And then like 2 seconds later, under that, April Fools.
Yeah.
So it was pretty cool.
That is good. It is very good. Yeah. Very good. So look, I think it's really set up for a cracking tournament. I don't think we're going in necessarily seeing the dominance of Scotty in the last few years, and I do feel like the last probably, including Jon Rahm, actually, to be honest, like a lot of those tournaments, they've sort of almost known who's going to win before the tournament starts. I just don't necessarily feel that way this time around. So maybe it is an opportunity for Rory. Maybe the field's a bit more open. Who's to know? But hopefully the chef can get in there and do some serious cooking.
Yeah, hope so.
A bit of Dr. Chipinski on the 18th on day 4. That'd be nice.
Yes, I did hear that given, and he does hole out a lot from around the green.
He does.
But Dr. Chipinski.
Somebody call the doctor. It's good work. We love your work, Minwoo. Keep it up. Entertain the fans. And a bit of aim pointing over a 6-inch putt.
6-inch putt.
The win, I think, is pure class. So anyway, Andy Walker, before we get into the topics, we should also just share a little bit of Voice of the Pilgrims, and I think you'll enjoy this one. So this one is from Cameron from Minnesota.
Nice.
Yeah.
G'day, Cameron.
Yeah. Welcome to the pilgrimage. It's nice to have you on board. Cameron says, boys, loving the show. Always a nice start.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
Flattery will get you a long way. He says, loving the show. Thoroughly enjoyed your talk of business goals and golf. However, there's a however, Andy Walker.
I'm glad it wasn't a but.
Yeah. He says, however, you guys are either the most curious guys on the planet or just have a limited vocabulary, because everything, according to the pair of you, is interesting.
Wow, that's interesting.
Couldn't have scripted that any better if I tried. That's gold. Cameron.
Well, I mean, it's life, really. You've got to be inquisitive.
Cameron. Where do I even start pulling this apart? Firstly, thanks for your message. We do appreciate it. It's very nice when we have the pilgrims reach out, and thanks for letting us know that you love the show. We do appreciate that as well. Now, to answer your question, we are either the most curious guys on the planet or have a limited vocabulary. I would say, if only I knew the right word for it, I'd say we're the most curious guys on the planet anymore.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. But fair point. In fairness, I did listen back to the episode after I got that message just to check it out. And fair point. We did use the word interesting a lot. But you know why? Because there was a lot of interesting stuff to talk about. But anyway, our challenge for tonight, Andy Walker, is to try and avoid overuse of the word interesting, which I think will be an interesting challenge.
Yeah. No, we're done already. I mean, yeah.
Or maybe we just really embrace it and and we go with it. See what happens. Anyway,
we'll see.
Yeah, there you go. Any other thoughts on that before we move on?
No. I think we can move on.
Okay, let's move on before I make any remarks that I'll regret later. Exactly. So myth busting part 2. So we went through 5 of our favourite golf myths in the last episode, and we weren't done. We had a few left, so we thought a part 2 would be in order, and here we are, back again. Where do you want to start, Andy Walker? Which one do you want to start with? There's a few on the list still.
There's one that is sort of a little bit of a pet hate of mine, because I think it's right up there with the worst golfing advice that anyone has ever given, and that's to keep your head down.
Oh, I like it.
And I think very closely aligned with that is to keep your head still. I think they sort of go hand in hand, because if you're and you go back as far as and I was a huge fan of the way Curtis Strange played golf, and Curtis Strange moved a long way laterally, and
still hit the ball okay.
Won 2 US Opens and was a pretty decent player in his time.
So can I just clarify something on this?
Yep.
So you've got keep your head down. I've heard that said. All right, You've got to keep your head down. Keep your head still. I've heard that. I've also heard, and I just want to see if this is linked, when a bad shot's been played, someone saying, "Oh, you lifted your head."
Yeah. They go hand in hand.
Okay.
Yep. Because and you look at a lot of them, or I shouldn't say a lot, but some of the modern players, and I actually do this, is that I'm not actually looking at the ball through impact.
I don't actually think anyone really does.
No.
I mean, you're doing a putt, sure, but with a full swing.
That means you're not keeping your head down.
No, well, it's very difficult. If you try and lock the head in position like that, it's very difficult to still maintain a shoulder turn and, kind of complete the action of the golf swing with your head without doing an injury to yourself with the neck and the shoulders. Yep. So I agree. Yep. I think there is a fair bit of movement on this, and I think what can happen, right? Like, because it's well-meaning advice. People are saying this to help impact. That's really what it's about, and that's why when you
where it comes from is to stop people either topping the ball or having air swings.
Yeah, but the question is that why that is happening?
No, it's not.
Yeah, so it's somewhat talking about a cause that's actually not the cause of the issue.
Yeah.
So would it be fair to say, right, like, so bad contact, that can often stem from a severe early extension in the swing, that kind of losing posture and standing up? That could be one cause.
That can be part of that.
And that could look like you're lifting your head because you're kind of straightening the back.
However, the who I consider the greatest golfer of all time, Jack Nicklaus. No, we've had that discussion before. Jack Nicklaus,
Scotty Scheffler,
early extension.
Well, he did.
That's what he did.
Yeah, he did.
Right, he came in very steep, didn't shallow the club, had a very, very upright swing, and early extension. And you look at it through, especially with his driver and some of his, the early footage of his swing, and it almost looks like he's standing upright when through impact with his driver. It's really interesting. So
there's that word again.
Nice, good pickup.
Yeah.
So I think that it's about consistency and making sure that you can deliver the golf club to the golf ball at impact in a consistent.
Absolutely.
in a consistent manner, and then you can work with either your shot shape or your ball flight, etc., to be able to develop your golf game around that. Now, you can make swing changes with a coach or if you've got enough expertise on yourself, but keeping your head down is not one of the things I've ever worked on.
Mm. So would it be better to redirect this sort of a statement if you're out on the golf course thinking, I've got to keep my head down, I've got to keep my head still, don't lift the head, common swing thoughts, but would it be better to be thinking something like keep it steady rather than keep it still?
Yeah.
Do you think?
Yeah, I think that's and to work on tempo as well.
Balance and posture.
Balance and posture is a good one. So I think there are various. I certainly also think your weight and shifting your weight and where your weight is at different parts of your swing is really, really important. Mm. So I think there are various aspects of your swing that are far, far more important and relevant than keeping your head down. And you look at someone like, say, Wyndham Clark, who actually, his head actually goes down vertically through impact and then comes up as in his follow through. So
Tiger
again,
does that too.
Sort of comes back to keeping your head still. That's just not how
it's not going to happen. I think the other part of this, which is a potential negative impact on your swing, is the introduction of tension. And if you're really focusing on keeping something still or, in a position through the swing, you're going to introduce tension into the body, in particular into the shoulders and the arms, probably the back. And tension in the swing is not a good thing.
Although in saying that, if you listen to some of what John Novosel Jr. has to say of Tour Tempo fame, he talks about having, he doesn't like just like gripping the club lightly. He believes you've got to have a firmness in your grip to be able to develop the velocity throughout your swing, to be able to, I thought you'd like that.
Love that word.
To be able to hit the ball a long way. So I've, having been a subscriber of Tour Tempo and bought the app, I now get a lot of his training videos, and he's very much because he's into ground force and using tension to be able to create the speed throughout your swing. And it's I find it really interesting because he, even with his driver, the way where he comes from it is that a lot of his weight to start with is on his front foot. So he's a left-hander, so it's on his right foot. Yeah. And he uses the ground and his right foot to push off in his backswing to create the momentum.
Oh, yeah, really interesting. Yeah, long driver style.
Yeah.
Kyle Berkshire style. Yeah. I've seen that. Yeah, that is interesting.
Yeah.
So
and he like his, I'm not going to say his head is all over the place. It's not, but he's certainly not keeping his head down. He's certainly not keeping his head still.
Yeah.
But what he's doing is consistent, and he's delivering the golf club consistently back to the ball to be able to hit good golf shots.
Yep. It's interesting that you talk about grip, the strength of the grip. Now, I'd like to be able to remember where I read this, but there was a study that I stumbled across that was talking about that advice of, grip the club lightly and like it's a tube of toothpaste kind of thing.
Yeah.
Basically, the study was saying you can't do that with a full swing because your, all of the unconscious self-organizing processes in the body will tighten the grip the faster you swing because your body knows that you need to prevent the club flying out of your hands. And there's no use. There would be absolutely no use if you think about the physics of it, striking a golf ball with 115 mile an hour swing speed with a driver with a really floppy grip. That's just not going to achieve a result. So, or a good result at least. So,
one of the early videos that I watched was a video by Greg Norman, and Greg Norman, he believed in having a firm grip, but also he said the way he gripped his club is that if you held it out horizontally, someone could grab the end of the club and still be able to pull it out of your hands.
I think that's fine to start your swing with. You're not going to be holding it that lightly.
No, definitely
through
not.
Impact. You're just not.
Definitely not. Yeah. Whereas, but John Novosel Jr., he actually talks about even when you're setting up, you should still have a firmness in your grip. So again, there are different methodologies that are out there, and I think you've got to strike a balance between, because you can't have too much tension in your hands and that'll then go up through your forearms into your shoulders, and that's not a great way to swing the golf club. So I think you need to have a firmness in your grip without being tight. But just having a sloppy grip, I don't think that's a great way to grip the golf club either.
No, hold it like you mean business. Anyway, we've actually moved on to a bonus myth there as well, which was good. All in the attempt to bust the myth of keep your head still, keep your head down, don't lift your head, which I feel like we've put up a good case for busted.
Yeah, definitely.
Busted. All right.
What do we got? What's our next one?
Well, the next one I would like to talk about is a bit of an old favourite, one that we've had a few conversations about.
Yep.
And that is the myth that, and you hear this said in a few different ways, like so many of them, but for the purposes of this exercise, we'll say golf is 99% mental.
All right. Okay. That's interesting. So all I need to do is stand on the first tee and
think positive thoughts.
Think positive thoughts, and I'm going to smoke it down the middle all day.
And you'll shoot 7 under par.
Yeah, wow. Okay.
Probably win the Masters.
I was wondering what I was doing wrong all this time.
Your mental side is not up to it, Andy Walker. It's what's been letting you down.
So all the practice that I've done, all these years through the decades of beating golf balls.
It's a complete waste of time. All you got to do is get your mental game in order. You know, golf, as they say, the most important 4 inches in golf is the distance between your ears. So forget the practice fairway, forget the practice putting green, forget getting down there and practicing your chipping, your bunker play, your short game. Just think better, because golf is 99% mental.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't even think we need to debate this. That is just busted.
I think it was, and I think it came up maybe a year or so ago when Bernard Langer was is the one who sort of said there is no way that golf is 99% mental, because you take a 30 handicapper and me.
Yeah.
And they can be as good as what they want to at their mental game, but there is no chance, zero chance that they're going to beat me. Yep. So, and look, I think where that comes from is two golfers of equal ability, or equal skill level, I should say, not ability, equal skill level. If you've got a better mental approach, that's going to give you a huge advantage and over the other bloke. But I think that there's a fair bit of practice and physical skill that comes into it.
It's a physical game that requires physically hitting a ball in a particular direction. There needs to be physical skills involved. I think all that you said is true. What I find fascinating is that it's about getting the best out of yourself, right? So you have a certain amount of potential who knows, maybe that's unlimited, but let's just say there's a physical skill set. You've got the ability to hit certain shots. If you bring a very good mental game to the course, you will perform better than if you bring a poor mental game. So that comparison that you're talking about of two similarly skilled golfers, well, we talk about the one individual and their good days and their bad days. The mental game definitely makes a difference. We had a great conversation with John Sherman on the show talking about his approach to golf and setting out, appropriate expectations and having acceptance and awareness of what's going on around, all the foundations of a strong mental game. That absolutely helps get the best out of you. But that probably means that that's squeezing another 5 to 10% of the juice out of the lemon. It's not 99% of the game.
No. And look, where I think it really comes into its own when we talk about the mental game is when you get into the high performance side of golf. And I think that's the same as any sport. The better you get, the more important your mental game and your mental skills are. And certainly at the professional level, dealing with the pressure of money, big tournaments, media, when we talked about Rory and how he deals with or doesn't deal with those pressure situations.
Yes.
That's the mental side of it. And that's extremely important once you get to that level. However, I think to be able to improve from, say, an 18 handicapper to a 10 handicapper, yes, you've got to work on your mental skills, but I don't think it's 99% of the work that you've got to do.
Well, by definition, it can't be.
No.
Because of the complexity of skills that you've got to perform around golf. However, I guess what we're saying here is it's very, very important, should not be overlooked.
No, absolutely.
It can be a, how might you describe it, like an amplifier of your skill set if you can get it right. It can be a tiebreaker potentially in some of those tough situations. But is it 99%? No.
Yeah, look, and I think a lot of that as well, and certainly when you're out there in the, in a competition, if you're playing someone in match play, your ability to develop grit, and we've talked about grit before, I think that's a huge component of the mental side. Is just having that ability to dig in. That in 18 holes things aren't always going to go your way. There's going to be a period where momentum shifts, and to be able to hunker down and show some grit, that's really where your mental skills come to the fore.
That is true. So I don't know, how do you feel on this one, Andy Walker?
Yeah, I don't think there's much doubt. Yeah.
Or busted.
Yeah. No, I think it's 100% busted that a 99% mental game is not true.
So 99% of the game is mental is 100% busted.
Yeah.
50% of the time.
Something like that.
Excellent. All right. So what's next? Look, what do you got?
There's one that we've talked about this before, and that's the more you practice, the better you get.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, practice makes perfect. What do you think of that quote?
What do I think of that quote?
Yeah,
I don't like it.
Because I have to admit, I was.
You were guilty of this, weren't you?
That quote, I was sort of fed that quote many times.
Oh, we both were growing up. Absolutely.
It was of the time. It was that quote, get in there, practice makes perfect.
Yeah, practice makes perfect. Work hard enough, you'll get it. And you know what? No, I subscribe to the alternate quote, which is practice makes permanent.
Yes.
And absolutely, I think in the golf swing, this is relevant that you will groove something in the more you do it. And if that's a good thing, then it makes perfect, sure. But if it's the wrong move that you're grooving in, and you're making permanent a bad move in your swing that will be very, very difficult to alter, change, or get rid of down the track, then that can be very destructive.
And the other thing as well, as human beings, do you think we can ever achieve perfection?
Well, that is a very fascinating angle that you've taken on it. That one's for you, Cameron. And should that be what we're searching for as well?
Yeah, it's an interesting question because there's two parts of that. And when I was having a think about what we were going to say this evening, I know what we've talked about previously, but we've never actually asked that question. Is perfection what we're striving for?
What do you even mean by perfection? I mean, if we're talking about golf, right? Like, are you talking about having the classic perfect golf swing, or are you talking about scoring an 18 for 18 holes?
Well, I would say both. If what one can't go without the other, like if you're going to be perfect at golf, then.
But it doesn't mean you have to have the perfect golf swing. Like, okay, maybe not perfect because.
Can you ever have the perfect golf swing?
Is there a perfect golf swing?
Does Adam Scott even have, or Ludwig Oberg, does he have the perfect?
I'm sure they don't, because if you listen to interviews with both of them, there's bits of their swing that they don't like, and there's things that they play bad shots every now and then. Otherwise, they'd win every week. It's not golf tournaments, as we have seen with Scotty Scheffler, are not won by the guy with the best looking swing every week. That guy tap dances his way around the golf course and still wins tournaments.
I was going to say, does Scotty Scheffler have the best looking swing? I mean,
no, this is my point.
Some of his, I mean, it works, but some of the positions that he gets himself in, and like the dancing around the in his follow through, are just like I love it. I think it's great with how unorthodox it is. And that he gets it to work as well as what he does. I think
consistently, it's amazing.
Yeah. But is it considered perfect by, a traditional golf swing perspective? I don't think so.
So the question is, I suppose, what are you trying to do with your practice? Are you trying to get better scores, or are you trying to get a better looking golf swing? Are we playing golf, or are we playing golf swing?
Yeah. And look, I think there's a bit of both of that in that, and I think, and we've talked about this book, the talent is overrated, and in that book it's talked about deliberate practice, and the deliberate practice isn't easy to do, and in a lot of ways, it's not particularly enjoyable. It's a bit of a grind. But when you're on the practice fairway or on, in the high performance center on a simulator like we are, you're making deliberate moves in your swing to be able to improve your golf swing. Then you're going out onto the golf course and playing in competitions, playing in practice rounds to be able to understand how to convert your golf swing into good golf scores. So I think it's a two-part process. You've got to build the skill base in that deliberate practice forum of whether it be practice range or, practice putting green, practice chipping green.
Yep.
And then you've got to take those skills that you've developed in that environment with deliberate practice and apply those on the golf course. Firstly, in practice rounds, again, with deliberate practice, and then in tournament golf or competition golf in order to test your skill base under pressure.
I 100% agree. And I think when we're breaking down the concept of deliberate practice, because we do talk about it a bit and it's good to explain it. So the first thing that we need to figure out when we're doing this is exactly what is the specific issue and what is the outcome and what is the thing that I'm working on. All right. Because the concept on the other end of the spectrum of practice makes perfect, of just going out and practicing and working for hours and hours and hours, and you're going to get better. If you're doing the wrong thing and you're graining it in, as we talked before, the human body can be it can, learn things by rote, by repetition very effectively, and you can get really, really good at doing the wrong thing and become very effective at making the wrong moves. So the whole concept with deliberate practice is we're identifying that specific goal that we're trying to achieve and trying to fix, doing high quality work that's going to specifically deal with that, and also then having a feedback loop so that you know that you're either doing it right or doing it wrong and can make adjustments as you go. And then you also, I think, probably want to add a bit in there where you're challenging yourself a little bit and getting out of the comfort zone and putting yourself under pressure. So whether that's a thing of going, all right, I've got to do this 5 times in a row. If I muck it up, then I've got to start again, like you do with the putting drill when you're doing the 3 foot, 6 foot, etc.
Yep.
Some of those sorts of things as well, to really not just work on going, all right, I can do it in my comfort zone when there's nothing on the line, but I've also got to perform this skill when I'm feeling tense and under pressure. I think they're all elements that are really important.
Yep. Yeah, and I think back to when I was playing and practicing a significant amount more than what I am at the moment. And Greg Norman was an idol of mine, and I remember him talking about him hitting 300 balls a day. So I was like, oh, well, if Greg Norman did that, I've got to go and do that. So I used to go out and hit 300 balls a day, but it wasn't very deliberate. I just used to get onto the range and hit balls. And to be honest with you, I wasn't grooving the right skill set. I did have a coach, but I didn't see my coach enough to be able to develop my swing in the way that it needed to.
Yeah.
Which means that now I'm adjusting my swing and making swing changes that I probably should have been making back then and been more deliberate with.
And it's so much
back
harder.
then. But I will, when I go out to the high performance center, I'll probably hit 15 to 20 balls, but it takes me a fair bit of time to be able to hit those 15 or 20 balls. Whereas, in that space, it probably takes me somewhere between, maybe 45 minutes, thereabouts 40 to 45 minutes to be able to hit 15 to 20 balls, because I'm making deliberate moves with my practice swings. Whereas in 40 to 45 minutes, I was hitting 60, 70, 80 balls. I remember when I was in my 20s practicing.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. And doing them, don't just rake and hit on the range, but actually having a bit of a plan for your practice as well is a very good one. All right, I feel like this is pretty comprehensive.
Yeah.
Walker.
Yep.
I'm happy to get the big red stamp out and bust it.
Yeah.
All right. So.
All right. What have we got next?
Well, another one I want to run by you is statement that I know that I have heard, but I've probably heard it slightly differently to how you've heard it. And so I'm happy to translate it for you.
Yep.
Because the way I've heard it is you need to keep your right arm straight in the golf swing. Now, I'm probably going to throw it out there that the version that you've heard is you need to keep your left arm straight in the golf.
Yeah. I mean, if I tried to keep my right arm straight,
it'd be really interesting.
Yeah. No, that would be a very, very interesting process.
So let's say
that word again, interesting.
Be a confusing process.
Yes.
I would say lead arm. Let's say lead arm. So keep your lead arm straight in the golf swing.
And I think you really just need to go back and have a look at Jordan Spieth.
Classic
to
example.
Understand that at the top of his swing, he actually, and it's not, I wouldn't say it's bent, but it's certainly not straight. And then he's got the old chicken wing through impact. I mean,
he's again, a great example.
I think you're coming back to point number one of keeping your head down. It's not about keeping your lead arm straight. It's about delivering the golf club back to the ball on a consistent basis.
So there's another couple of examples that I want to throw by you with the bent elbow in the lead arm. So Jordan Spieth, great example. Another contemporary example is Lee Westwood, who actually has a bend in his front elbow at impact as well.
Yep.
Another Andy Walker from years gone by who quite enjoyed a bit of a kink in the lead arm, Jack Nicklaus.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Thought you might have been all over that.
Well, I another one who that the PGA Tour paid homage to recently with the Players Championship is Calvin Peete.
Oh, Calvin.
Fantastic. Calvin Peete actually had a significantly, and he couldn't actually straighten his arm. He had an accident as a young kid, and I think he broke his arm, and it sort of, when it started to heal, it healed bent, and they figured it wasn't going to affect him that much, and
it didn't.
Why re-break it and cause him more pain? So they just let it heal naturally, and he then spent his life with a bent left arm.
Okay.
So, which obviously being a right-handed golfer was his lead arm. So yeah, he played his whole golf career with a left arm that he couldn't actually keep straight. It wasn't possible for him for it to be straight. Another
example of someone with an issue like that with the arm causing it to bend. Not sure that it prevented it from straightening completely, but legend has it was Mattia Muralitharan. I've got him with that one, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. And you know what I'm laughing at is that I was having that exact thought and wondering where I put that into the conversation.
Boom. Got your back, Andy Walker, don't you worry.
That's hilarious. I mean, look, he it's widely known that, he was the most prolific wicket taker of all time.
I would say
just happened to throw it.
I would say he certainly holds the record for the most run-outs in international cricket. To all our Sri Lankan listeners out there, our apologies for offending a national hero of yours, but seriously, that bowling action. Come on.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're here to talk about golf, not cricket. I could go on all night.
Yeah.
But I think, look, there's a few good examples. But look, what I want to probably dive into is that I think this myth is not all bad. I think there's some elements to it that are worth identifying. It's a little bit, to me, this is a little bit linked to the keep your head down myth that we talked about before.
Yeah, for sure.
I think the problems with it, if you focus on it too much, you introduce tension, loss of flow, loss of rhythm, all of those types of things, which is bad.
Yeah.
However, the purpose of it is really to help create depth in the backswing and promote a shoulder turn rather than just kind of cheating a little bit without turning the shoulders and just bending the elbow and wrapping it around the body.
Yeah. And you look at and two golfers that we've talked about this evening, one Rory McIlroy and two Minwoo Lee at the top of their swing, and they've got big shoulder turns, both of them. Their left arm is like straight as, like it's
true.
Yeah. And that potentially, I mean, both of them have got significant length. So potentially, the wide arc, the just creating that momentum through having a very big wide arc and shoulder turn. I mean, it's an advantage.
It is an advantage. I would argue, though, that advantage is driven by their flexibility through their spine, shoulders, hips, and their ability to make such big turns and get width in the swing. It's not because of the straight arm.
Yeah, I mean that's. I think it's probably some of both, but definitely, yeah. I mean, flexibility is a massive part of golf, and yeah, certainly as we get older, it's an area that we struggle with.
Well, it is. I mean, you got to work hard to keep enough flexibility to actually make turns, and I don't see that getting any easier as the years go by.
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
So,
but interestingly, say that word again.
It's hard to get away from it.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. At the top of my swing, I actually have a slightly bent left arm as well. So I've never played my golf career, and I've gone and looked back at a few of my old videos, and it's been the same. I've never had a dead straight lead arm in my backswing. I mean, by the time I get to impact, it is, but certainly at the top of my swing, it's not.
Yeah, but it's interesting. It doesn't necessarily.
Is it
have
interesting?
To. It's fascinating. It's remarkable. I need a thesaurus.
Now, every time we say that.
I know. So, because what's happened, thanks, Cameron, is, and we've spoken about this in an earlier episode, the reticular activating system of the brain has now been tasked to recognise the word interesting. And that is the part of the brain that filters all of the random information that comes at you because your brain can't handle that much. And it just sort of identifies the bits that you think you need to know, or the 8 things you need to know.
See, what I think we need to do, like we did with the word journey.
Yeah.
We actually just came up with a whole range of other words that we could use, and we came up with pilgrimage.
Yeah.
So I reckon that we need to come up with another word to interesting and just go with that, and that'll be our word.
I think so. Pilgrims, let us know.
Yeah.
Or if you
that does nothing to expand our vocabulary if we're just going to just choose another word.
Replace it with one word. Maybe you can have one and I can have one. We can have our own particular words.
Okay.
Right. So, pilgrims, if you've got any ideas, interesting words, let us know. Oh, man. What time is it? I think this myth, right, it's based in well-meaning information. I don't think it is incorrect, but I do think that when focused on too rigidly, it can be harmful.
Yeah, I agree with that. And look, a lot of the myths that we're talking about are the old sort of traditional way of looking at the game. Whereas if you look at the modern game, and especially when you bring data into the conversation, then it just there's a completely different perspective that it gives.
It's a good point. And I think a lot of this actually is about you're dealing now with changes in understanding of the golf swing between things that were observed and believed to be truths versus now things that can be measured and questioned, and we now know maybe they're not as much as what we once thought they were. So
yeah. And you even go back to, there was a belief that there was one way to swing a golf club. Whereas I think now, even though we've got all the data points to refer to, I think a lot of people now realize that golf is an individual game, and there are countless ways to be able to deliver the golf club back to the golf ball at impact, square to the target.
There's definitely more than one way to swing a golf club. I mean, just between the two of us, we've proven that. You swing it right-handed and I swing it left-handed. So there's 2 ways.
Exactly. So I'm not a fan of the rigid way of
the rigid front arm.
The
black and whites. It's the black and whiteness of it, isn't it? Really?
Yeah. And this is where a lot of these myths come from. It's looking at the game and looking at certain parts of the game from a black and white perspective, going, you need to do this in order to get the right result.
I also think it's having things with catchy little sayings that you can just remember. And so you can sound like you know what you're talking about on the course, and see someone swing, you got to keep your front arm straight. Oh, right, okay, thanks. That's good. Or you got to keep your head down. Oh, right, okay. Oh, that's good. Well, golf's 99% mental. You know what I mean? Like, it's all these little
Yeah.
overly simplistic one-liners.
Mm.
You know,
Yep.
because you sound like you're a genius saying those sorts of things. You don't, but like you might think that you do. Rather than
certainly, I think to a new golfer, if they don't have the experience that would allow them to view these myths as exactly that, as myths. I think that a lot of golfers, when coming to the game and learning the game, can be influenced by these myths. So, yeah.
Yeah. Or you see the guy that shot 130 in the clubhouse and one of the old members comes up and goes, you've got to work on your putting.
Yep. Yeah.
I don't think he does unless he wants to get a lot better at sinking bombs for quadruple bogeys. But anyway, we have been through that one.
Yes, we have.
Have we got time for one more, Andy Walker?
Let's do one more. Because this will be 10.
It will be 10.
So the last one I want to bust is the old feel equals real.
Oh, does it though?
And you hear this a lot, where people go, oh yeah, I feel this in my golf swing, so it must mean that I'm doing that. And I think you really just go and video yourself.
100%.
And that will bust that myth completely. Yep. Because and I've got to come back and what's given me a huge amount of confidence and just a completely different perspective is the Golf Swing Replay app. And that's really revolutionized my practice to be able to.
It really has.
To look at where, my golf swing path, and don't get me wrong, it doesn't get it right all the time.
Yeah.
In fact,
it's pretty good though.
Yeah, it does. There are a couple of times I look at it and go, yeah, I don't think that was my club head path.
Yeah.
But then you just delete it and you go on to the next one, and it usually works pretty good. It's pretty close.
Yeah.
But that has revolutionized the way I practice. And what I was doing prior to the Golf Swing Replay app is completely different to what I'm doing now. And I feel as though when I look at my golf swing and look at, replays of my golf swing, it just looks so much better than the positions I was getting myself into, say, 12 months ago.
I absolutely agree. And I think there is no substitute for some video of your own swing, but also probably making sure that you're talking to someone who can unpack it properly and understand what you're looking at. So a good coach or someone with, probably not the 18 handicapper up at the local club, but someone that knows what they're talking about. I think it's really useful. But if you think you've got a certain thing going on, finding feedback sources is really valuable. The Golf Swing Replay app, I think we stumbled on that. It's amazing. I also had a little play around earlier this evening, Andy Walker, with a Hack Motion device.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, I have read a little bit about the Hack Motion, and I've found them to be very fascinating.
Yes, they are. They certainly draw the curiosity out of one. Yes, that is for sure.
They do.
So anyway, I had always suspected that I potentially cupped my lead wrist a little bit.
Okay. Yep.
Right, which would lead to opening the club face and other issues. I'd suspected that. So the Hack Motion device, for those of you that haven't seen it, Google it, check it out. It's interesting. It's interesting. Far out. It's useful. It goes on your lead wrist. It kind of, you wear it as a bit of a bracelet around the lower part of the forearm, and it has one sensor on your forearm, and then it's got a little cable with another sensor that clips on the Velcro of your glove on your lead hand. And so it can take all of these readings with your wrist movements of how much you're, flexing or extending or rotating and various movements in your wrist. But it also takes a lot of other movements about the club path and some of those sorts of things. So anyway, I thought that I was cupping a little bit. What it showed is that I wasn't. I was actually in a good spot wrist-wise, neutral at the top of the backswing.
Okay.
What it was saying I was doing was actually, in fact, the opposite of my feel at impact. I had too much flex, so
like bowing of the wrist.
Yeah, so rather than the knuckles coming back towards the forearm, actually the other way, so the palm of the hand coming towards the inside the forearm. I'm trying to describe it with words here. You see the likes of Dustin Johnson and Colin Morikawa and that sort of thing with a heavily bowed wrist at the top. That sort of thing, but at impact, not at the top. I don't yet really know what that means, but what is interesting about it, what is fascinating about it, what is curious about it is that
is it captivating?
Have you got the thesaurus open, have you?
Could be thought-provoking.
Yeah, it is.
Intriguing.
It's intriguing. It is intriguing. Yeah. That's what it is. Yeah. Is that it's the opposite.
It could be, here's a good one. It could be unputdownable.
It's not a book. It's the opposite of what
entrancing.
What I was feeling.
Enthralling.
It was enthralling. No, it was intriguing. It was more intriguing. It was. I think that's the word for this one because it's creating some thought, and making me wonder. It's not beguiling. Stop it. It's the opposite to the feel. Is the point that I'm driving at. So, and I would also put it to almost every pilgrim listening to this show that you've got an inside takeaway.
Yeah.
Even when you don't think you do, I reckon you probably do because I have yet to meet an amateur that doesn't.
And
get yourself
interestingly, captivatingly, enthrallingly, thought-provokingly.
Yes.
Okay.
Get yourself on video and check it out.
One of the things that the Golf Swing Replay app identified with my swing, and it's been one of those key metrics that I've been working on to make sure that I'm not coming on, in on the inside, because as soon as you come too far on the inside, you cramp yourself up and then it's over the top you go.
So if you're looking for what's not a myth out of this list, having an inside takeaway can lead to many other problems in your swing. Not a myth.
No.
Fact.
No. Yeah.
However, feel equals real. Myth.
Definitely. And I think that the better you get at golf, feel does become better.
Realer.
I think that you have a better feel for what you do because you're doing it. I'm not necessarily saying every day, but certainly a lot more often than what the part-time golfer is or the semi-regular golfer is.
Yeah.
However, if you're only semi-regularly playing golf, the feel is probably very different to what you're actually doing.
I would add a caveat, and I would say that to actually build that feel is real skill. I think it's a skill to build it. I think you need legitimate feedback loops in your practice so that when you go,
sure.
I feel like this is what I'm doing, you can check and see, is it true? And that might be using Swing Replay, that might be using a Hack Motion device, that might be just using video, whatever that might be. But I don't think you can actually do it without some feedback loop, because how would you know?
Yeah. And what I've been doing over the last, certainly since Golf Swing Replay app, is taking the replays from my sessions in the High Performance Center and doing a comparison to various golf swings like Adam Scott to Tiger, Tommy Fleetwood, the swings that I really like and I would like to not emulate, but be a bit more like. And there are some really good positions that all of those guys get into that I go, I really wish I could get into that position. So then what I've been able to do is to take the sessions with in the High Performance Center with the Golf Swing Replay app and compare those to, and YouTube's, YouTube University is amazing for, watching slow-mo replays on any professional golfer that you want to talk about. So that's been really good, and that's also provided a really good base and some, I guess, direction around what I'm doing and what I'm trying to achieve, because I don't have a coach at the moment. It's probably something that I need to consider at some point, re-engaging with a coach. But at the moment, I don't. I feel as though I'm making the necessary progress that I want to make. I'm pretty happy with that and pretty comfortable with where things are heading.
I think it's fine so long as you've got a plan, you've got a path that you want to go down.
Yeah.
And I think for me, like that's my next frontier. And I've had some conversations with Jake, my local pro, about developing a longer term plan, because we've had a few training sessions, but they've been specifically around fixing particular issues. And, that's been across ball striking with irons and then also with some short game stuff. But what we haven't done yet, which I would like to do, is just do sort of a full swing analysis and break that down with a longer term development plan. I actually would really like to potentially do a 9-hole playing lesson kind of thing. Like not so much lesson, but like an analysis, so that he can not only see the swing that I put together on the practice fairway, but actually see what happens in real game situations, because things can be very, very different. So there are a few things that I plan to do across the course of the year, but save them for future episodes, Andy Walker.
Yeah, look, and I think that's a good plan. There are certain things that, and I know this as well in my own game, that I don't have the skill base to be able to pick up in my own swing. However, I've got certain goals of where I want some of my positions to be in my golf swing, and I'm working towards those, and I can see that I'm progressing towards them. And I just don't want to, I don't want to put a bit of a chink or, a reversal in that process. I just want to be able to achieve these things that I want to achieve. And then if I feel as though I need some further direction, then I'll go and re-engage with a golf coach.
Well, I think fair enough. And I would suggest keep putting in the hard yards, because as we know, Andy Walker, practice makes perfect.
Yes, or not.
Yes. Anyway, that is all good. But on that note, I feel like that's 5 more myths solidly busted.
Yeah.
We need to find a few more challenging ones. But anyway, hopefully there's something in that, though, that helps people, because I think there's a lot of stuff, there's a lot of information that you hear out there that may or may not necessarily be true, such as tee it low to hit more fairways. I would argue that is poor advice, but that's a topic for discussion.
In fact, it's probably the opposite.
Yeah, tee it high and let it fly.
Yeah. And certainly with the driver, I think it's been proven that when you tee it higher, you're actually you're more.
You're going to hit up on it more likely.
You're going to hit up on it. It gives you a better opportunity for the low part of your swing, or for impact to be after the low point of your swing, which means you are hitting up on it, which gives you that flight to be able to hit long, or as long a drive as what you're capable of.
Yep, no doubting that. Anyway, it's a good series. I like the myth busting stuff, Andy Walker. I think we should do it again sometime.
Yeah, and Pilgrims, if you've got any more myths that you'd like us to talk about, let us know.
Particularly if ones that we might go, oh, actually, that might be true.
Yeah. If you've got any other words apart from interesting that we can use, let us know.
I am intrigued to see what the Pilgrims come up with.
Are you captivated?
I'm beguiled. I tell you what, Andy Walker, this episode is unputdownable.
It is very unputdownable, isn't it? Spellbinding, even.
Oh, yeah.
Do you like
that? Nice. That's a good way to finish. Let's wrap it up there. It's degenerating. So
yeah. Look, I think it's been an absorbing episode.
Oh, for God's sake.
And bring on the Masters.
Yeah, that's
Good
exciting.
Luck, Aussies.
That is exciting. I'm going to fire up the TV in a moment and watch a bit of Live from the Range.
Yep.
So bring it on.
Well, no one's going to be there because everyone's been sent home. Well, that was yesterday, I think. So
yeah, hopefully they're back now.
Maybe they've rocked up again.
Yeah, hope they're back now. Anyway, on that note, Andy Walker, it's been a lot of fun. Pilgrims, it's been a lot of fun. We'll do it again post-Masters.
Yes.
Which for us is...
We haven't done a debrief since probably the Olympics, have we?
Correct.
So maybe we'll do a bit of a debrief on the Masters.
I'd say let's make no promises because we'll be going Masters straight into Missing Links Masters Macquarie Cup. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, I've actually got a comp round on Thursday as well.
Ooh, I don't.
Yeah, my first comp round for April and my first comp round actually since the New South Wales Seniors. So and first comp round since my injury. So mind you, it's not 100%. So
you might not play on Thursday.
Well, I will, but then I'll play in the Macquarie Cup.
You heard it here first.
No, I'll play.
You'll tough it out.
Cup. I'll tough it out. If I could play in the New South Wales Senior Amateur when it was pretty bad, I'm pretty confident that I'll be able to still play. It might hurt like nothing else, but I'll tough it out.
Fair enough. All right. Well, I think we're about there. Andy Walker, anything else we need to do?
Rock out, Pilgrims.
Thanks for listening to us today. We love hearing from our pilgrims, so please reach out to us through any of the links in the show notes. We know golf is hard, so we hope we can help you shoot better scores and inspire you to keep trying. Rock on, pilgrims.